Yeah, how's it end, Jacoby? What's the final game of week one? Anybody know?
I believe it's Bills.
Everybody want to raise their hand?
Bills are playing the Jets,
Only
I
game
believe,
that matters.
on Monday night.
Only game that matters.
The main event.
Final game of the weekend. Only game that matters.
Prime time.
As the New York Jets start their voyage against the Buffalo Bills directly to Vegas for the second Sunday in February. But here's what I love about what the NFL's done. A lot of divisional games early, a lot of divisional games late.
Yeah. Yep.
So you can't just say we're blowing this game off. Everything means something. And every year there's going to be a team or two in each conference that nobody's thinking about. That's a dark horse that has a huge upset and knocks all you guys out of your suicide pools week one.
Yes.
That team is Detroit.
Yes, it is.
Let's go, Craig.
I'm with.
Look, with or without Chris Jones, whether he's in uniform on the field or not, I like Detroit. They're the underdog.
Really?
This team, yes, really. When you look at them offensively, they're stout up front, offensive line. They're going to protect Jared Goff. They have weapons around him that support him. They can score with anybody.
Yeah.
Defensively is the question. But you look at their opponent, defensively, they're a question mark too.
Yes, they are.
Anything can happen week one. I like Dan Campbell a lot in this Detroit Lions team.
Look, and if you want to get Kansas City, you get them early. Right? Super Bowl hangover maybe a little bit. No Chris Jones. They know full well we're good enough in November, December to make a run and make sure we're in the playoffs or win a division. Detroit comes in, all the hope in the world, chance to actually win their first division title in 30 years. And I'm telling you, don't sleep on the Motor City.
No, I believe in the Lions, led by Jared Goff. You talked about the defense, obviously, but what I'm in love with, the fan base is showing up for them. They selling out preseason games. We don't talk preseason here, but we're going to talk about right now. The fact that this fan base is behind this team, they're motivated. This is a head coach, Man Campbell, a la Dan Campbell, who came out and said, man, I was fired.
Yeah.
I thought I was gone. My boss was, I was packing up the house. It took this team to pick him back up, the locker room to convince themselves we are worthy of being on the field with a team like the Kansas City Chiefs. I got Detroit being the Chiefs week one.
Hold on.
Look at that.
Can we just make a decision as a show? Can we just call him Man Campbell moving forward?
I
like that's his new name. Is Man Campbell.
Man. This guy was talking about biting off kneecaps.
Yes,
that's
exactly.
a man move.
And I went to a Lions game last year in Detroit, and it was wild. I've been to a few of them, and there's an energy there last year that I did not feel before. And the Chiefs never cover the spread. They always keep it close. And one time, that is going to bite them in the butt.
And then Dan Campbell's going to come out and say, I'm taking receipts.
Exactly.
Do you believe?
Exactly.
I got receipts. Do you believe?
Moving on to our second headline, and that is more Chiefs.
This is a complete failure by the Kansas City Chiefs front office to allow this to get as far as it's gotten. It's only to miss maybe the first week, I don't know, of training camp. But now that you're really being threatened with not having your best defensive player on the field week one is just dumb. Yeah. There's no reason for it. You've got the money. You know he deserves it. Give it to him. There are moments like this where I don't understand why ownership and front offices don't do the obvious thing and get it right. It ain't difficult.
And this is why it's a problem, because of what we just saw and heard from Patrick Mahomes. Like week one, in any week, entering any week, the last thing you want is distractions from your guys not talking about and their focus not being solely on their opponent. This is going to be them all week.
Of course.
Until this is resolved, they're going to be answering questions about Chris Jones and taking their focus and attention away from the opponent at hand. I don't like it. You hit the nail on the head. This is a mishandling by the front office. They need to get this done. He is your best player outside of Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. Get it done, move forward, and be the team that we all believe that you guys can be.
Hold on a second, Willie. So we listen to Patrick Mahomes, and he's at a press conference, and he's saying, oh, this is the front office will take care of it. We're going to play with the guys that are available to us. But then you have a guy like Travis Kelce. He's not at a press conference.
Yeah.
He's talking to his brother on the New Heights podcast, presented by Wave Sports Entertainment, and you get a different sort of view. Sure. You have Travis at his house in front of a microphone.
I'm surprised he's not saying to Kansas City's front office, hey, go get me my guy back, right? It's not about Chris Jones just coming back with his tail between his legs saying, okay, I'll play for my last year, whatever. It's about, hey, I want to get paid like the best defensive tackle in football. The team comes out and goes, we're going to pay him like he's the best defensive tackle in football. And then nothing. It's like when you first meet a girl, you're like, I know she's going to text me. I know she's going to text me.
Sure, Craig.
Yeah. What do you mean she didn't text me?
You know why Kelce and those guys, they know they can put up points. But they also have a team in Detroit that can also put up points. And you need a guy. You need a guy to collapse the pocket, stop your pocket passer, be the absolute anchor on that defensive line, and that's what Chris Jones is. So if they don't have him in the building soon, man, to your point, the headlines are distractions.
All right, so let me stop you there. All right, let's look at week 1 first, just very quickly. When would he have to show up to play on Thursday night?
Anytime, because
like Thursday morning.
I mean, but then I don't want to overstate. Like, it does pose a problem regardless, because now you talked about it when we were on this set last time. Spagnolia, as a defensive coordinator, you prepare with these guys that you have at your availability and accessibility right now. But if Chris Jones walks through that door, all that game plan, it changes because it centers now around him, and that's a problem. And I will say this about what Travis Kelce did. I understand his position, and I understand him, crying out to Chris Jones and saying, "Chris Jones, we need you." And it's great, but it also it's hard for Chris Jones because now this puts pressure on him, and it makes him be viewed now in the fan base.
But here, the thing I don't get about it is when Brett Veach, the general manager of Kansas City, came out, and he did throughout this process, and I have the quote in front of me. He's a great player. He wants a big contract.
We all thought it was done.
He deserves a big contract.
Give it to him.
Pay him.
You're the guy that does it.
Exactly.
They also said they weren't going to pay him. They just, not now.
When?
I don't know when. But it's different saying, listen, he's in his last year of his 4-year deal.
Yes.
He wants to be up there with the Quentin Williams and Jeffrey Simmons.
Now,
he's not going to see Aaron Donald.
He was at 4 years, 80, so he was making $20 million a year. He wants $30 million
coming
a year.
off his first All-Pro, 15 sacks. He's a monster. They didn't say they weren't going to pay him, just not now.
I'm not waiting.
I'm just saying, I'd rather hear soon than never. You know what I mean? So it's going to happen.
It's the same thing until that check gets struck.
Thank you.
I get
Yeah.
you.
And it also
you can
costs
say
him $1 million
soon,
a
tomorrow,
game.
never, whenever.
$1 million a game. Every game that he misses, $1 million and $83,000.
Yeah.
He said he got it.
He said he got it.
He said he got it.
He all right. I wish I had it.
I ain't got it like that.
I'll take some. How about that?
Moving on to our third headline. This one comes from another defensive wrecking ball. That is Micah Parsons of the Cowboys. He took out his Twitter fingers and said, "I will be a Super Bowl champion."
Now, if I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, I got a real problem with that.
Why?
Ooh.
Because, let's read it again slowly together for people in Texas who aren't all that bright. I will be a Super Bowl champion. I will be a Super Bowl champion. He didn't say we. He didn't say with Dallas.
Or with-
he didn't say
Craig.
the Cowboys.
This year.
He said, at some point in my career, I am going to be a Super Bowl champion. Not in Dallas.
He only does what I do every day in the morning. You are beautiful. You are smart.
He does do that.
It's called affirmation.
No, that's called-
He just giving
He
himself
does do that. I saw him doing it. I saw him doing
You
it last
gotta
week.
do it. He's talking into an existence. I believe.
You told me you were talking to your wife.
Well, now start with her. I love it though.
Look, he's a great player, maybe the best defensive player in all of football. But when you write stuff like that out like that, it's calculated.
It's on Twitter.
We. I love it. He'd look good in a jet uniform.
Greg, here's my question for you, follow-up question. He just it's just one simple statement on Twitter. It's hashtag be great.
Yeah.
He could not do that. That's also an option. Why? Why did he decide this weekend to say, "I will be a Super Bowl champion"?
Because he's 25 years old, and that's what kids do. I mean, they live in a different world than we lived in when we were 25 years old. And if it was around when we were that age, we would have done the same damn thing. That's all it is. Guy's self-confident, thinks he's going to win a title.
He's just showing the rest of Cowboy Nation that he cares more than anybody else.
Be great.
That's it. That's how I took it.
I mean, I text you guys all the time, be great. No one ever listens, though.
No, you don't.
You say it like an insulting way.
To be fair,
unlike yesterday, be great.
To be fair, over the weekend I did text everyone saying, I will win an Emmy. I meant it for the show, though. I just forgot to say we.
It'll be for
That's
graphics
on me.
or
It's
something.
my fault. Totally my fault.
Moving on to our fourth headline, and it comes from Coach Prime. Big upset over the weekend.
Yeah,
the
I gotta
Bucs
stop you on
showed
that.
out.
I watched that game.
This was a great game.
Why are we calling him Coach Prime every
that's
single
That's his
time?
name.
Prime
That's
Time.
what his name.
You have a problem with Coach Prime?
Yeah, Coach Sanders.
No, you
Deion.
call him Coach Prime.
Now we got to call the guy Coach Prime.
Absolutely.
no. Oh, no.
He want to be called Coach Prime? I'm going to call you Coach Prime.
calling him
Look,
Coach Prime.
first and foremost, it was a great game. Let's start with that. Both sides, great game, back and forth, back and forth. 45-42. His kid was great at quarterback, obviously. Threw for over 500 yards, but it's a single game. And we're all blowing a horn like the Mets did with Timmy the Trumpeter when they were 5 games over 500 last year. And how'd that work out? They are going to lose to Nebraska. All right? Keep that receipt. Nebraska goes into Colorado and beats Colorado Saturday afternoon.
What's impressive about Deion, you got to understand, he's only returned 3 starters. And then the rest of the roster is all patchwork. And he got the guys, he didn't get the first wave out of the portal. He got the last wave out of the portal. Mm-hmm. And he's been able to get all these guys together and say, hey, I need you to believe, because I'm telling the rest of the world that we are them. Yes. Right? And he did it against 17th ranked TCU, and he got it done. With Deion Sanders, the guy he donned his quarterback and said, he's going to be quarterback. Nobody has to earn it. It's already earned. Right. And we brought Louis Vuitton. Well, he did. He brought a great coaching staff together. He brought a Travis Hunter he brought along with him. So he's put together a team that can compete. Now, I'll tell you the game to watch out for. September 30th against USC. Because Deion, you know what Deion said? If he would have connected on 2 deep balls, give him the Heisman. You know who you said the next Heisman? Caleb Williams. Shedora, Caleb Williams, September 30th. That's going to be must-see TV.
First, they got to beat Nebraska, which they won't. Then they got to beat Colorado State. They probably will. Then they go to Oregon, which is going to be a beast, obviously. And then you have USC.
Both don't have defenses, by the way.
I mean, there's a chance you're talking about a 2-2 Colorado team going into the game against USC.
It's going to be a shootout.
So let's slow our roll about we're winning national titles and Heisman trophies after a single game.
So you don't believe.
Look, the Heisman Trophy is a realistic deal when you look at what Travis Hunter was able to do. Now, my only concern, which is the major concern, is this sustainable? Because 129 snaps, offense and defense, the level of production that you're expecting of him on both sides of the ball, when we look at what he was able to provide, he's a critical piece to their success, both offensively and defensively.
And they showed him at the end of the first half, he was gassed. He was just gassed. It was the end of the first half. We're not talking fourth quarter. He was absolutely gassed.
Cockeyed.
And he had a couple drops, too. I mean, that was a great interception to seal the game. But he had a couple drops. He had one drop in the end zone.
He did.
And he broke up a touchdown. Like, it was a great day for Travis Hunter. And he had impressive drops.
Yeah.
Highlight drops. Highlight drops.
Hold on. Yeah. We're not doing that.
Highlight drops. Highlight drops.
That's the ghost looking drop by
There's some impressive drops.
We're not doing that. We're not going to say he had impressive drops.
Highlight drops.
Like, there was never a point in my career, high school, which I played every position, punted, kicked, all the things.
Oh, now we're doing this.
Played like 150 snaps.
I knew I forgot your resume when I landed.
There was never an impressive drop. What?
I won a state championship.
No, I didn't do that. I didn't even come
We saw what you looked like in high school earlier in the show. You shouldn't be bragging about that.
No, that was actually.
You look like a sitcom.
That was when I was.
You look great now.
That was when I was an assistant principal.
Anyhow, those are your headlines. So, look, it makes college football more interesting, so we're all down with that. Hey there. Thank you so much for watching The Carton Show. You can subscribe right here to get all the latest bits and segments from the show. And by the way, while you're at it, we have a lot of great shows on FS1, so check them out too.